right, hello everyone, and welcome to Floxamall and the first match of round 2 of the final Refrain. I'm so excited to get into this. We got the bracket here. Again, nothing in round 2 has happened yet, so we've got everything from round 1 finalized. All of our top 16 are here, and man, what a brutal tournament already to think that half of our contenders are already out of the game. But, we're just gonna do this real fast and hard, so, that's just how it goes. It is on the bright side. Yeah, so if you were watching before, we did have a little delay on this match, some daylight savings issues with the scheduling, but that's totally fine. We are back now, and we're gonna run through this matchup. So for today, we are looking at Grishhammer and Holystewe. Let's get into that one. Again, Grishhammer fighting his way past Easy Galena in a tough matchup there against the Fiends, and then Holystewe beating out Willie 510 to make it to round 2, and they are matched against each other. And what's really cool about this is it's another Amber Skies versus Amber Skies matchup. Really interested to see how these decks kind of make it through this field of GR, but the thing is they haven't really had to face much GR yet, though. They're too busy knocking each other out, so it'll be really interesting to see. Let's go ahead and take a look at our competitors and our decks. So really quick, big thanks to Snoopy and everyone who's been working on the back end of getting actual stats put together and even these graphics and stuff put together, so that we have these sort of recap screens. So just looking at round 1, we've got both of them winning 2-1, so neither one of them was cut and dry. There was some play there. Grishhammer kind of a little bit more on the all or nothing thing there, where if the deck fires, and we'll talk about this, it kind of just ends the game, and if it doesn't, it's a really uphill battle because it's not really doing as much like Amber Generation or Amber Control as other decks might be doing. Holystewe is on the other side, a lot more, I guess what you might say, fair, even though it still is a very good deck, doing lots of stealing, really bursty. Yeah, just a lot more on the kind of fast aggressive side. So really be interesting to see kind of how these stats look after round 2 here and they face one another. For our matchup today, we've got Gyarados versus Piplup. Gyarados obviously being the raging sea monster, Hydro Pump and Dragon Tail, all those kind of things that this is going to be bringing in and going against the ever adorable Piplup, which, we'll see what Piplup can do here. Big thanks to Harm for that. This is obviously looking at the deck names, which are Gyarados and Pupaloop, or Pupa something. We'll look at it, but we're gonna call them basically those for the rest of the day. So Gyarados or Gyarados is gonna be Grishhammer's deck. This is a deck that has become almost a villain in Keyforge of late because it is such a scary deck, and that's because it does a kind of full lockout, which is very rare to see in standard Archon. We have the Geistoid Enhance corner the market, along with the de-escalation there, and then the double in here somewhere. So there is a chance, if you can kind of get enough of the board cleared, to basically just lock your opponent out of the game for the rest of the game. Just continue looping those cards and gaining Amber, and your opponent just cannot play cards for the rest of the game. It takes some setup, it takes some archiving, or just some luck. And if your opponent does have a board and you don't get a chance to play the de-escalation, there is still a chance that that board can actually kind of stop you from being able to do this effectively enough to win. So there is still some interplay here, but very scary deck, because once that combo fires, it is nearly impossible to win after that. So deck is doing plenty of other stuff, especially supporting finding that combo. You've got lots of draw, lots of archive and logos, along with the time traveler, some bigger bodies in Geistoid to try and keep the board a little bit clear, or just kind of generate some value while you're trying to find things. And then the Equidon is bringing lots of pips, some more creature control in the contract executions, and yeah, the really scary stuff in the corner of the market and the de-escalation. On the other side, on Holystewe's side, we've got Pupaloop or Piplup, I would be calling it, Magic History Hierophant, which we also found out in our interlude here that is one of the most, like, just the name makes way more sense than it should, because a Hierophant is someone who actually teaches like sort of ancient magic or lore or whatever. What was it called? What was called? Pupalurp? Puppelerp? I don't know how you say that. No one knows. It's a made up word. We're calling it Piplup. But this is a Disgeistoid Skyborn, so doing a lot more of kind of what you'd say is the standard things from Amber Skies, the Skyborn with double against all flags, red line rotation. We've got double in here somewhere again to kind of set up that recurable Amber control. Got Black Tempest in there with the red skies, which can also do some damage. Double Ghost in the Sun, but the big thing is the Ghoul Keeping Echo Fly, which is going to be a rule of 6 combo, generates plenty of Amber, and gives you a lot of options on that last activation of Echo Fly to get back another action card, such as an In Here Somewhere, to really set up some other nasty things. And then the Dis is just doing Dis stuff. Double Infinity Strop is a lot of the creature control in this deck. Drumble really helps set up the red line rotations, which we got to see against a double red line rotation for In Here Somewhere deck in their first matchup. And then lots of other standard Dis stuff there, along with the Arise to kind of bring it all back. So really, really interesting matchup. Let's just take a look at it from the hole here, and I think we should be getting ready to go pretty soon. But both very high SAS, Amber control, expected Amber, all of that stuff going to Holystewe's deck there. Piplup, which again is just going to be a little bit more of a what we call a fair deck. It's just going to be generating Amber, doing a lot of Amber control, still very, very control-y with the Amber control and the way it does that, and then lots of repeatable Amber generation. Very consistent and efficient deck. Comparison cards seem blurry. I got this just today from the asset folder, but we can take a look at it again. The cards on Gyarados look a little blurry, don't they? Sorry, I'm gonna call it Gyarados from now on because those names are just in my head. Gyarados, on the other hand, again, a little bit slower. It's still not a slouch. If it doesn't get its combo off, it can still do plenty of interactions, but it's not quite planning to do that stuff. It really wants to win off of the combo, so a lot of it is just going to depend, I think, on if Holystewe can kind of get enough pressure, enough board presence, enough of an Amber lead to basically win without the combo kind of ending the game first. So let's see where our competitors are at here. Match is getting made as we speak. So in the chat, what are our predictions here? These are both very, very good decks. I think Holystewe's deck, the way we saw it win against another red line deck means it is probably favored in the control matchup, but you know, Grishhammer's deck is so control-y, it's total lockout in that sense, or disruption, I guess, that is can do the total lockout. But it is a little bit light on the creature control. Sure, how many creatures does Holystewe's deck actually have? It's not a ton, right? Although the Arise, with the Arise, you could actually get, if you're able to do that right before they fire off the combo, if there's not the de-escalation involved, that Dis combo could actually kind of get you enough value to keep reaping and kind of, you know, keep yourself in the game even while not being able to play cards. But again, like we saw against Easy Galena, the de-escalation along with that corner of the market is just brutal. All right, I see a game. I don't see it on TCO though. Oh, there we go. All right, and we will move over. Game is up. Players are ready. Grishhammer made the game, so I think I'm gonna need to change my top and bottom players. Yeah, we got Holystewe at the top there, and then Grishhammer at the bottom. And we are ready to go. Always have to do the reminder for logs. These players are both playing fast. They are ready to go here. So we've got Swapper coming down turn 1, so Grishhammer going first here, just getting some Equidon stuff out of hand and going back into that house, going to try to keep that stuff getting out of hand. We see the very fast Black Tempest into Secret Missile, and then some fighting there just to get rid of the Swapper. And with no Amber generated, I assume you maybe don't go back into Black Tempest again here, but really depends on what's in hand. We do see a dis turn from Holystewe now. Going for the high roll. What's the high roll dis that you do in this? Oh, the clipped wings. Just gonna go for the purge. So not planning to not hold it here, just gonna try and purge something. Gets a candle unit. Not what you're looking for. And I mean, you do have the 2 in here somewhere and Echo Fly, so definitely a card that Holystewe can get back. It's not like it's out of the game with one play there, but is a little bit risky if stuff happens too fast on Grishammer's side. That might be your kind of only out already in the discard. And we do see a Geistoid call here from Grishhammer. Venomoth is down, so you might want to find some creature control, but again, Grishammer's Geistoid doesn't really have creature control at all. So that Venomoth going to start doing some slowing down, and if you actually get your own creature control on Holystewe side and start clearing this up and that Venomoth stays for a while, that could really slow down Grishhammer enough for Holystewe to kind of get that Amber lead that we think is so important for this matchup. Of note, Black Tempest is now live and actually has Amber to steal. It's not the 3 Amber that you'd like it to be, but you have to be a little bit careful that Thoughtcatcher is going to be doing some draw if you can't get rid of it first, which things like your Infinity Strop aren't going to quite do it if you go back into Dis, and there's no none of the Skyborn cards which kill the flank creature. Shouldn't prop dusting? Yeah, prop dusting. Ooh, Against All Flags instead, gonna steal it for him there. Just gonna leave the Black Tempest to reap, and already getting to 6 with the Boomerang as well. Holystewe getting to an early lead here, just gonna try and outrace what this deck is doing. And I apologize, I will need to text a little bit while we're doing this. And that's okay because Grishhammer is having to think about this turn too. Venomoth still on the board, so still doing some hand disruption. We did get the 1 draw off of the Thoughtcatcher. Skipper Hugo going to be doing some capturing, so stopping the key here and exalting both of these. Oh, and there's the de-escalation. But again, that's going to give Holystewe... that'll give Holystewe the key here. All 3 of these are going to die, so this Portal Guardian effect not quite doing it, and then giving 3 archives to Holystewe here. Lots of destroyed effects there though, so Grishhammer getting 3 more cards drawn. Laser Transparency Report, so that means there's no Corner of the Market in hand. Oh, maybe there was. Oh, there was a Contract Execution. Oh no! So Grishhammer missing out on some Amber there. That's a tough one. But we do see the non-enhanced... Is one of them enhanced? No, one of the in here somewheres. Connectome, so lots of really good logo stuff. One of the other tricky things about this deck, and we saw this come into play against Easy Galena, is when or how to play the Help from Future Self, because you do really want to get more draws. You want to get that Time Traveler going, but you have to be really careful when you're actually shuffling your deck back in, because you don't want to lose the combo once it's in there. So again, like this de-escalation being in the discard is really tricky for Holystewe, or for Grishhammer now, to know if it's worth trying to shuffle that back in or just trying to archive it with this in here somewhere and hope you draw into other pieces soon. But I would assume we're going to see a Logos turn next turn based on what we're seeing in the hand, so it'll be really interesting to see what they do. Holystewe going into Geistoid here, not taking any archives, so must have some kind of stuff in there that they want to keep a hold of. Getting rid of Ghost in the Sun just for the Amber getting them to Haunted now, which means if Holystewe has an in here somewhere, can get back a lot of valuable cards, either that Echo Fly. Oh, the heck? Where'd the Clipped Wings go? Did I miss that getting archived earlier? Oh, the archive got, or the Echo Fly got discarded by the Venomoth. I missed that. So Clipped Wings is already in the archives. That makes things a lot trickier for Grishhammer, because now you know it's there, so how fast do you actually try to play into it or kind of get it out of hand? So no in here somewhere that turn, but just getting a lot of cards out of hand. We see the Portal Guardian, Ghost in the Sun, Secret Missiles, and then the Shell of a Ghost just getting discarded. So a lot of creature control going there, but again, that's probably not going to be Holystewe's issue in this matchup as much as for Grishhammer. As we thought, we do see the Logos turn getting played there. A discard of the Connectome transfer. Plays the Root Access and discards the Help from Future Self. So again, not wanting to shuffle stuff there and not wanting to archive either. I think that's kind of telegraphing a little bit that you don't want your archives to get hit by that Clipped Wings right now. Even though it's a random archive from the Skippy. Do you see the Infinity Strop that's going to clear out this Logos board? Grishhammer getting to check that turn, but we'll see if it sticks. Holystewe has a lot of Amber control in this deck. Slayer getting discarded, because it would have no effect anyways here. We see the Clipped Wings just getting played again for another Purge, hitting a Strong Feeling, which is not a terrible card in Grishammer's deck. It does allow some extra kind of creature use. Not able to stop the key though, so Grishhammer getting one naturally for 6 against a deck that really likes to do redline shenanigans. We do see the Drumble come down there, but 6 is not enough for Drumble to activate, so it just isn't quite going to do it. So Grishhammer knows Clipped Wings is in the discard now, but we haven't seen any in here somewhere, so it could be getting that back soon. But you're already at check for key 2 for Holystewe, so Grishhammer kind of needs... Grishammer's under the clock. Needs to get the combo going fast, or needs to find some ways to really stall this. But this is what we said. This is what Holystewe's deck needs to do to win. It just needs to have enough pressure early on to basically duck under the combo by the time it gets going. Another time to think here for Grishhammer, which is valid. This is kind of a tricky one to know what to do, especially if you haven't drawn more of your stuff, or maybe it's just math. If you can fire the combo here, does that actually lock things down enough? We see an Equidon call, so it's not going to be the full combo, but could see a corner of the market getting played here. Contract Execution, Hoist Operations, gonna hit the capture card. And then Vested Herald also gonna archive that Searing. So getting a lot of cards out of hand, which is good, getting some Amber, but Holystewe getting key number 2 now. See if he can just burst all the way up to check here. Holystewe getting a Junk Restoration. We see a Rise, Safeport, and Against All Flags. That may be a tougher call here between the Arise and the Against All Flags. Your Drumble's already on the board. And you have a lot of stuff in the discard already, but not a ton of disc creatures. Getting the Venomoth out might be good. You can't play any of them this turn though, so you're kind of trying to plan for what you're doing next turn. Also probably going to see the in here somewhere, or in here somewhere. We do see the against all flags, so just going to go for the Amber Control, Amber Generation at this point. Get the Portal Guardian and Summon Council coming back out. Manifestation for some extra generation, hitting 2 more Amber there off of 2 Amber and oh, and the Ghoul Keeping. Gonna get to check here. Summon Council shuffling back in. Maybe the Clipped Wings. Yeah, going to check here is huge. Getting up to 7. Grishhammer's deck, again, not very big on the Amber Control. We do see a Geistoid Call here. It'd have to be Tribute Collector and Colonel Slime, I believe. Both manifestations are... yeah, 1 manifestation is gone, so a second manifestation could also help stop it here. Ooh, Grishhammer just with the concession there. Grab the logs really quick, so just doesn't have any way to stop the key. Just gonna get it over with. Couldn't quite find the combo, and so gonna move to game 2. Yeah, so some definite misses on Grishhammer's turn there. Unfortunately, the contract, or not the contract, the I'm gonna forget what it's called. Transparency report. Not getting the Ember off of that meant no check that turn, which kind of let Holystewe go for a lot more of the aggressive stuff there. Yeah. Thanks, DG dude. I just, man, sometimes I get them, sometimes I just... Good catch, Easy Kalina. So we've got Holystewe on 1 win to 0 against Grishhammer. Grishhammer starting strong here with the Time Traveler, but Holystewe having none of it with the Infinity Strop taking it away right away. You see that Venomog come back down, this time just discarding Ghost in the Sun and getting that Soul Keeper on it. Again, this will test some of Grishhammer's creature control. If we could see one of those contract executions, that's a really nice and easy way to deal with this, although it would kill whatever creature you play. 1 into Geistoid to get a Junk Restoration, Candle Unit, Hoist Operations, and Contract Execution. So nothing you can play this turn, really, unless there's no pips. Chooses to take none of it. Okay, so just trying to mill right now, get as far through the deck as you can until you find your combo pieces. But also getting up to check it, or not check, getting up to 5 Amber, getting a nice board out here. Yeah, lots of Amber Burst coming from that Geistoid. You do technically have a full board clear just by fighting with this Venomok, but I think you want to try and keep that alive as long as possible. Force Grishhammer to deal with it, to keep him on this 5-card hands. Holystewe going into Geistoid. We did not see the Rule of 6 from Holystewe's deck last game either, so we'll see if we find that with the... Ooh, not what you want to see if you're Holystewe here. Got both in here somewheres, 1 played, 1 milled. Really needs to find the Echo Fly now. Doesn't look like they have it. Playing a Seeker Missile. Hairbite. Doing some capture, and then a Ghoul Keeping for some more capture. Still not getting to check either, though. That was a pretty rough turn for Holystewe, I think. That's a lot of your value pieces that are already in the discard and not too many more ways to get them back outside of your Echo Fly surviving a turn or flipping the deck. So might have to go for a different approach. Although we didn't really see the In Here Somewhere do as much last game, but we did see things like the Ghoul Keeping and both the Infinity Strops are gone too. That's a lot of the creature control. This will have to be a rushy game for Holystewe, maybe even more so than the last one. But I do feel like Grishhammer's already done a better job milling their deck this game. Grishhammer playing the de-escalation here. Giving some archives to Holystewe, but getting a big board out. Possibly giving up the key here. But just doesn't want to have to deal with that Venomoth anymore. And also getting that into the discard so that you can archive it with in here somewhere if you want. Holystewe going into Dis. Looks like just getting a bunch of stuff out of their hand. Getting the Ghost in the Sun, Drumble, and Slayer on the board. Nothing too scary that you're worried about the Swapper taking. But again, not getting the Drumble value here. Grishhammer might be able to just burst past. He still can't burst too high here. There's too much Skyborn that we haven't seen yet. Only seen 2 Skyborn cards total. So you gotta imagine there's a lot of Amber Control waiting in Holystewe's hand here. See a Connectome transfer, just gonna go ahead and archive a bunch of stuff, and then discarding a bunch more creatures. So not giving Holystewe any way to kill this Drumble so that it can get hit with an Arise is one thing. Very, very smart play there from Grishhammer, just to try and make sure you're removing as many routes as possible for that Drumble to come back and bite you. Grishhammer is at 6. We'll see if Holystewe decides to deal with it, or... I mean, I gotta think there's gotta be a lot of Skyborn in hand at this point. Your other 2 houses, though, really don't do a ton of Amber Control on their own, especially with the Parabite being gone. I mean, we know what both the archives are here, so we might just see another one of the random purges from Clipped Wings too, but I think at this point you maybe have to hold that. I feel like this amount of thinking probably has to be, do I stop the key or do I keep my hand moving or get some good archives going? We see a disc call, so most likely that means this is more handcrafting, maybe a Clipped Wings. Ooh, or the Arise. Are they getting back the Venomoth and Dust Imp though? No Infinity Strop to pop the Dust Imp with. I don't think there's another way. Oh, you might have a Syrian in hand to just be able to kill the Dust Imp. Venomoth getting some extra hand movement with that discard pip. Discarding Manifestation, and we'll see if we get the Syrian. No Gift of Amber either in this dis. Holystewe going for it again, playing the Clipped Wings for the high roll chance. Purges a strong feeling again, so Clipped Wings just hates that card. That's hilarious. But it does, again, maybe possibly limit Grishhammer's options here. Like we've seen some of the capture already, but could still have a little bit more. But we do see an Equidon call here. I guess this would be, ooh, no contract execution. Unless it's off the draw. There's the contract execution. Okay, so you're going to be able to kill the Venomoth this turn at least. That's probably the only one you want to kill if you can help it. Okay, gonna go ahead and... I guess you can kill off the Drumble now because the Arise is gone. Still no corner of the market or any of the other scary stuff. Like Grishhammer, you gotta be starting to sweat again here. This could be a firsty turn. But again, Holystewe did not stop that key, so even if you have a bunch of Skyborn here, it's not really getting you a whole lot of value because there's no Amber to steal. Holystewe needs to find another way to kind of generate some value this turn. I think you have to also maybe clear this board, which is tough with Holystewe's deck. Does not have a whole lot of the board clear. Especially with both the Infinity Strops gone at this point. Holystewe thinking again. Yeah, you gotta be... this has gotta be like a hand of 4 or 5 Skyborn cards at this point. All of which probably want Grishhammer to have more Amber. We do see the Skyborn call. I think if you can get to check here, that's still not too bad. You need to probably get to 7 so this skipper doesn't ding you. We get some more hard to remove creatures. There's the against all flags. Did take the archives too, so we might see a lot here. Oh, the red skies with the skulking is going to actually be able to kill some creatures since we have the red key forged. So this skulking going to be able to remove at least probably the skipper Huko here. Yeah, there's a thought for maybe going after the swapper so it doesn't steal your dust imp, but that's kind of a pretty convoluted combo at this point. There's a Bomberang, going to do some damage back to the dust imp. Does get to 7 here. Let's see what else. There's the red line just getting played for the Amber. It's got to hurt a little bit. I think at this point you almost want to flip your deck as fast as you can. Get back to some of those other value cards you need. Question is, how much more Amber do you even need if you're Holystewe to win? You've got the dust imp on board, so if that gets blown up... Yeah, I can't steal the imp either. Good call, Martani. Also, welcome. So I would imagine this thinking is for your second against all flags, whether or not it's worth pitching that for a little bit more Amber. Yeah, it's fairly meaningless in terms of like you don't have to worry about Grishammer's deck going crazy fast. I think what is nice about it is if you do get the chance to get it, it's so much more Amber generation that you really need to have now rather than later. But at this point, I think it's definitely, yeah, makes sense to just play it, get it out of the way. We do see Safeport and against all flags going there too. So Holystewe going up to 10 Amber. So if Grishhammer tries to clear this board, you're going to be putting Holystewe in check for key 3. Assuming this key gets through, which again, I was trying to see what all there is for the Amber control, but there's not a lot, and most of it is capture based. So you need to be able to build a board that Holystewe can't deal with while getting your combo going. We see the Skippy the Glorious coming down, getting some archiving, and there's a little bit of that Amber control with the capture pip. Putting that on the swapper, just in the case that you might be able to ship it over to the other side. Uh-oh. I mean, we haven't even seen the corner of the market get played in either of these games, right? I think without that, even just turning off a turn or two, like it's going to be very tough for Grishhammer's deck to win. But if it's in your bottom 8, 2 games in a row, then you're in a lot of trouble. See placeholder taking out the skulking saboteurs, root access getting discarded so you don't kill that dust imp. Holystewe getting key 2, getting the black tempest down, some secret missiles, gonna take out the dust imp to get the check. That's all you got for the turn, but that might be all that you need. Put it at the bottom of the deck? Yeah. Somebody did. Was that Grishhammer too, who was getting people complaining about their draw when they were just doing some practice games or something? Alright, so here's the corner of the market. We do get a Tribute Collector, gonna stop the key. Manifestation for a little bit more capture and some burst here. Of course you do have a meme ready. That's great. Oh, and this could just be heartbreaking for Holystewe if this is enough to stop the key and get the combo going. Black Tempest does do some stealing. Like, if you fight off one of these, you're getting back to 7 amber here. Will that be enough? Black Tempest is MVP. It is such a crazy card. Alright, so we got the discarded Scallywag Fin. Very fast Skyborn Call there, because there's not many other options. I think the sad thing is you can't kill this. And so this, if you just go... You can't go Equidon next turn if you're Grishhammer. You have to keep doing the combo at this point. But 7 might be enough. Because the Swapper could just take the Black Tempest here. But if you do that, you're 1 turn away from Holystewe actually being able to play cards again. Because you can still play the Corner of the Market this turn. You steal the Black Tempest, so there's no more Amber control on the board. You play the Corner of the Market, but then the next turn, you can't play it because you haven't been able to archive it. Grishhammer instead going Geistoid. Must have another option for stopping the key here. Tribute Collector can't fight because of the Hazardous here. Yeah, and also at risk of shuffling here. There's the Junk Restoration for 2 Amber. Getting another in here somewhere. There's the Corner of the Market. Thought Catcher. Yep. That Hazardous too. One of those pieces that you don't... I mean, this might just be Grishhammer saying, I have no way of taking 7, or taking them off check for 7. But there you go. Holystewe taking it down 2-0. Pretty brutal showing there for Grishhammer. I think a little unlucky for sure on some of those draws, getting some of that seen so late. But Holystewe's deck just relentless with the Amber generation. Nice board stuff. Yeah, just kind of had the tools even to work. Do have the rush strat on Holystewe's side, but I mean, like, it's really interesting because now we'll need to look at some of the matchups that they might face after this. But this deck has a chance of going pretty far now, I think. With that clipped wings, you have to you still have to be careful with that clipped wings in later matchups if you get into some of those other GR matchups, but crazy. So, I mean, this is still very much a Boogeyman deck, especially if you kind of move into Alliance and you take this pod with maybe like a 4 in here somewhere and stuff like that, or more milling. But Holystewe showing it can be beaten, so... Yeah, Grishhammer saying exactly what happened. The pieces of the combo just were buried. Was able to find the de-escalation pretty early on a lot of them, but... or in both games, but just the... They in here somewhere, and the Corner of the Market just not coming out when they needed it. So again, great games to both of them. Congrats to both of them for making it to round 2 here, but only one can move on, and for now that is Holystewe. So congrats to both of them. Let's get these game notes shared in their lobby quick. Again, can't thank enough all the people who are working on this, Snoopy included, who's been taking all of these logs and turning them into stats for us. It's huge. Really excited to try and get more of that stuff going in our later rounds with overlays and stuff as well. But yeah, pretty intense round 2 there. Just Holystewe going crazy with this deck. So much expected Amber. I feel like the number might not even be good enough. And like there was the turn where if Grishhammer was actually on like 5 or 6 amber, Holystewe could have stolen even more. Like the amber total might have been more than, like way more than this. So crazy. All right, let's take a look back at our... First of all, I want to say Piplup taking this one is pretty great versus Gyarados. Just makes that meme even better. Oof, going to be against Astron or Catmarrow in round 3. So Astron's deck going to be, actually both of these going to be GR, but neither of them, I believe, are the standard GR of Vodka. So again, not going to be tested in the normal way. I think the Amber control in Holystewe's deck against either of these could be pretty rough. Both of these decks want to be fairly aggressive. There's going to be a lot of board though, and I think the board control is where Holystewe's deck might really struggle. But I mean, still making it to round 3, going to be one of, is that our top 8? It's still very impressive, so congrats there, and you everyone for hanging out and watching. We'll have this VOD up soon. Again, very, very sorry about the delay. There was some issues with time zone stuff with the changeover of daylight savings, so we're going to go through and check all the other matchups and make sure those event times are correct. The event times are what we're going to go by moving forward, so please make sure you're checking those events on the Discord to make sure you got the correct time, and we'll make sure all of our competitors are saying that those are also the correct times, just to make sure that everything is aligned after that kind of miss. Holystewe, the only Italian left? Yeah, there's a lot of only ones left already in this tournament, so it's good. But yeah, thank you all so much for coming in and hanging out, and again, congrats to Holystewe, and we can't wait to see how the rest of these top 16 matches shake out. Next one is going to be in just a couple hours over on Kalos's stream. That is going to be Matsy versus Sith of Angmar, which should also be a really interesting one, so go and check that out in just a few hours. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Flock Small. Bye-bye.